So tongue is a mucomuscular organ having core of skeletal muscles covered with mucous membrane. Okay, and tongue helps for taste, speech, mastication, and deglutition. These are the functions of the tongue. So see, this is a sagittal section through the oral cavity. This is the tongue. It is covered by a mucous membrane, and rest of the portion is formed by the muscle, skeletal muscle mainly. What are the gross features of the tongue? Tongue is a conical shaped organ having a root, a tip, and a body. This is the tip of the tongue. This part is known as the root, where it is attached with the floor of the oral cavity, and this part is the body of the tongue. Okay. See here, this is the tip or apex. Here is the root where it is attached to the floor of mouth, and rest of the part is the body. And see the different surfaces. This is superior surface or dorsum of the tongue, and this part is the inferior surface. Okay. Here this is represents the tongue. So see, there are multiple papilla on the dorsal surface of the tongue, and there is a furrow in between the two halves, and on the at the junction between the anterior 2/3 and posterior 1/3 there is a V-shaped sulcus. See, this V-shaped sulcus is known as Sulcus terminalis. Okay, and where the two limbs of the V are joining, here lies the foramen cecum. And these are the circumvallate papilla. Circumvallate papillas contain the taste buds. Okay, so these are lying in a row just in front of the sulcus terminalis. And posterior to the sulcus terminalis, the posterior 1/3 of the tongue contain lymphatic follicles just underneath the mucosa and forming the lingual tonsil. Okay, so these parts are forming lingual tonsil. These are part of the Waldeyer's ring. Okay, Waldeyer's ring is lying at the junction between the oral cavity and the oropharynx. This lingual tonsil, here is the palatine tonsil. Further above will be the nasopharyngeal tonsil. All these are together forming the Waldeyer's ring. Okay, and this projection on the anterior 2/3, these projections are forming different papilla. Here are the location of foliate papilla on the two sides of the tongue, near the circumvallate on the posterior part, and on the dorsal surface there are fungiform and filiform papilla. Okay, filiform papilla is only papilla which is covered by the keratin. Okay, tip of the filiform papilla is covered by the keratin. Rest of the portion is non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. Okay. So tongue has a body, has a dorsal and ventral surface. Dorsal surface anterior 2/3 or oral part, and posterior 1/3 or dorsal part. V-shaped sulcus terminalis is there, and at the junction between the two limbs of the V, here lies the foramen cecum, from where thyroglossal duct extends downward inside the subsets of the tongue, and it gives rise to the thyroid gland later on. Okay, during the development of the fetus. And there are papilla. These are the papilla on the dorsal surface of the tongue. Lingual tonsil. These are the lingual tonsils lying on the posterior 1/3 of the tongue. Here is, you see, the foramen cecum. Okay, foramen cecum. From here one duct is extending downward. Now we will discuss the papilla of the tongue. Lingual papilla are 4 types of lingual papillas are there. Filiform, these are very important for your viva, OSPI and MCQs. Okay, so these are the different types of papilla. Filiform papilla, fungiform papilla, circumvallate papilla and foliate papilla. And these are the histological picture of these 4 types of papilla. Here is the filiform papilla. Apex is covered by the keratin. Okay, this is fungiform papilla, and this is the circumvallate papilla. This is the papilla. On the 2 sides there are sulcus. Okay, and on the walls of the sulcus, these are the white areas are showing the location of the taste buds. And here also taste buds are present on the 2 sides of the fungiform papilla. And this is the foliate papilla. Foliate papilla looks like this, lying on the two sides of the tongue on the posterior middle half almost. And these white areas here also represent the taste buds. So only the filiform papilla, they are most numerous and they does not contain any taste bud. The rest of the three types contain the taste buds. Okay. Fungiform, circumvallate and foliate papilla are containing the taste bud. Very important for your MCQ. See the enlarged view. So this is the stratified squamous keratinized epithelium. In case of filiform, rest of the three stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. Okay, all the layers you can see the nucleus, and here you can see the taste buds. And just below the epithelium, this part is the lamina propria. Lamina propria contain loose areolar connective tissue. After that, you will see some sections of glands, some sections of blood vessels, and after that muscular layer will begin. Okay, muscular layer will contain skeletal muscle, bundles of skeletal muscles, and they are directed in different direction. That is the identification point for tongue. Okay, this epithelium, taste buds, and those different direction of the muscle fibers. See here, like this you will see under the microscope. So these are the filiform papilla, keratinized tips. This is one fungiform papilla and rest are the filiform papilla. So lined by stratified squamous epithelium. These are keratinized, this is non-keratinized. After that, here is the lamina propria. Okay. Next we are going to taste buds. This is a short note, taste bud. Okay, you have to describe the taste bud. So taste buds are neurosensory epithelial structures. Taste buds are present on the fungiform and circumvallate papilla of the tongue, oropharynx, soft palate and epiglottis. Location of taste bud is very important. Okay, very frequently asked in your viva or SP MCQ. Okay, so they are not only present over the tongue, also present over the oropharynx, soft palate and the epiglottis. Okay. Next, what is the structure of the taste bud? Taste buds extend through the thickness of the epithelium. In hematoxylin eosin staining, taste buds appear as onion-like, oval, pale staining epithelial structures. Okay. See here, this is section through the circumvallate papilla. This is the papilla. On the surrounding the papilla, there is a circular sulcus, and the wall in the wall of the sulcus, these are the taste buds, and these taste buds are connected to the sensory neurons. They are forming the nerves for the taste. And at the base of this circular sulcus opens the duct of the serous glands. The serous glands are lying within the lamina propria. You have seen sections of different glands. So mainly serous glands are present and their ducts are opening into the base of the circular sulcus. And this is a schematic diagram of the taste bud. It consists of some sensory cells. Sensory cells have hair near its apical portions or microvilli. Okay, and there are some supporting cells. And here is some gustatory pore where the food material is entering and it will cause sensation over the sensory cells. And from the sensory cells are connected to the nerve fibers for the taste. So taste bud length is about 50 to 80 micron, width is about 30 to 50 micron. This is the structure of taste bud. Here the yellow structure is the afferent nerve and this lightly staining cells, these are the sensory cells, and rest deep pink colored one are the supporting cells, and here lies the gustatory pore, and the taste bud is lying within the whole of the thickness of the stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. Okay, see the multiple layers of cell in the epithelium. Okay, so taste or gustatory pore, it is a small opening on the surface of the taste bud, and histologically taste bud consists of these cells: neuroepithelial cells or sensory cell, supporting cells, and basal or stem cells. Basal or stem cells, these are the basal cells. They helps in generation of these other two types of cells. So see here, this is circumvallate papilla, magnified view. So in the wall of the circular sulcus, the taste buds are present and one trench is present within the papilla. And see, these are the serous gland, sections of serous gland, also known as von Ebner's serous gland. This term is important, okay? Von Ebner's glands are present in the tongue and their ducts are opening at the root of the circular sulcus, okay, base of the circular sulcus, lined by, as usual, certified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. So like this you will look like in the under the microscope. See the structure of taste bud. These are the sensory cells connected to the nerve fibers, some basal cells and the supporting cells, and whole of this structure is embedded within the epithelium, and here is the taste pore or gustatory pore, okay. So tongue has a mucosa and skeletal muscles which are directed longitudinally, horizontally and oblique pattern, okay, in multiple directions. So mucosa, there is epithelium, lamina propria, papilla and glands. Epithelium consists of non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. Lamina propria consists of loose areolar connective tissue and papilla are of these four types: filiform, fungiform, circumvallate and foliate. And glands are of these types: lingual mucous glands, von Ebner serous glands. Okay, so both types of glands are present, serous and mucous. And taste buds are present. They are present in the fungiform and circumvallate papilla mainly, have receptors, supporting cells and the basal cells. See this, like this, a diagram like this we have to draw. So this is the epithelium, okay. This is ventral surface, this is dorsal surface and this is ventral surface. Okay, on the dorsal surface, these projecting parts are the papilla. Some are filiform, some are fungiform papilla. And circumvallate papilla are lying just in front of the sulcus terminalis only. And this, after the epithelium, here is the lamina propria. You can see some sections of blood vessels and connective tissue, loose connective tissue. After that, these are the muscle fibers, skeletal muscle fibers lying in bundles. Some are the longitudinal sections and some are the transverse section. Okay. And here are some section of glands: mucous gland, sublingual gland, mucus and serous acini, and some ducts of the gland you can see. And some sections of arterioles and venules will also be there. Okay, so like this you will see under the microscope. These are the filiform papilla with keratinized tips. And here is one fungiform papilla lined by non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. After that, lamina propria, and here are the skeletal muscles, some longitudinal section and some transverse sections you will see. Okay. So muscles of tongue, the core of the tongue is formed by intrinsic and extrinsic striated muscles. Okay, intrinsic muscles of tongue are arranged as longitudinal, transverse and vertical bundles. See, these are the arrangement of muscles of the tongue. So these are verticalis lingui, there are transversus lingui. Okay, and so these are the intrinsic muscles forming the intrinsic muscles of the tongue, and some are extrinsic muscles. Extrinsic muscles are coming from other structures and entering into the tongue, like this styloglossus, okay, mylohyoid, hyoglossus, geniohyoid, genioglossus. All these are extrinsic muscles of the tongue. So along with these, extrinsic muscles also enter the tongue and run in various directions. Muscle bundles are supported by loose connective tissue, adipose tissue, mucous, lingual glands, von Ebner serous glands, vessels, nerves and the lymphatics. Okay. See here, different extrinsic muscles have been shown. This is styloglossus, this is stylopharyngeus, this is hyoglossus, this is genioglossus, geniohyoid, mylohyoid. Okay, and these are the constrictor muscles, superior constrictor, inferior, middle constrictor muscles of the pharynx. So these are the extrinsic muscles of the tongue. And see the nerve supply. Anterior 2/3 is supplied by the lingual nerve, okay, and posterior 1/3 is supplied by the glossopharyngeal nerve, okay, and taste sensation is carried by the chorda tympani nerve. And this is the hypoglossal nerve. Hypoglossal nerve is the motor supply to the muscles. Rest of the two, these two, lingual nerve and chorda tympani nerve, they were sensory nerves, okay, and these hypoglossal nerves are supplying the muscles of the tongue, helps in movement of the tongue. So what will be the identification points of tongue? These points you have to write down on your histocopy, okay. So surface is lined by stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium, and surface shows projections for the papilla. 4 types of papillas are there: circumvallate, fungiform, filiform, foliate. Filiform does not contain any taste buds. And cut sections of muscles and seromucous glands are seen, and muscles are directed in various directions, okay. And this diagram you have to draw. Histology copy in your histocopy, okay. Draw this diagram and write down those previous points, okay. So during spotting you have to identify the structure and write down those identification points, okay. Understood? So you can see here lining epithelium is stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium, and here are the taste buds in the wall of the circular sulcus of the circumvallate papilla. Here is one filiform papilla lined by the keratin, okay. And after that, here is the lamina propria containing sections of blood vessels and loose connective tissue. After that, these are the muscles in different direction, muscle fibers, and these are the glands, okay, serous gland and some mucous glands, okay. Understood? And here also you can see some sections of the blood vessels. So these are the identification points of the tongue, okay. In the previous slide, circumvallate papilla has been shown. Here foliate papilla, okay, fungiform and filiform papilla have been shown. Here are also taste buds are present, not that much in number, okay. More numbers of taste buds are present in the circumvallate papilla. And filiform is same. It is a projecting structure and lined by keratin at the tip of the papilla. Then there will be lamina propria, then different seromucous glands and the muscle fibers in different directions, and some sections of blood vessels, okay. Okay, so like this you will see under the microscope. These are the papilla on the dorsal surface of the tongue, lamina propria, muscles in different directions, sections of blood vessels, seromucous glands, okay. And this is the ventral surface of the tongue. This is high power view. High power view, the circumvallate papilla have been focused, and these are the taste buds, okay. If visible, you have to identify the taste bud, okay. Not always visible taste buds. These are the section of some glands. These are the muscle fibers and connective tissue, sections of blood vessels, okay. Like this you will see. This is filiform and fungiform. This is fungiform and these are the filiform. Okay, see the keratin layer, they are dead cells, okay. More pink in color, and here is the lamina propria extending into the papilla. This is a enlarged view of the taste buds, okay. Taste buds are lined by 3 types of cells are there: supporting cell, sensory cell, basal cell, and near the apex there is the gustatory pore, and here some microvilli are present, okay, which senses the taste sensation. And so in the lamina propria, blood vessel, sections of blood vessels you will see. Okay, see this is the ventral surface of the tongue. Mucosal ridges are there, lined by same epithelium, stratified squamous, non-keratinized, lamina propria, and some adipose tissues are present there. These are adipose tissue tails, okay, sections of blood vessel and sections of some glands. muscle fibers, all those are present in the ventral surface of the tongue. And this is posterior 1/3 of the tongue where the lingual tonsils are there. See, this is the epithelium. Here no papilla is present. Okay, no papilla is present. Just beneath the epithelium, here these are the lymphoid follicles. Okay, you can see lymphoid follicles with germinal centers. Okay, and these are tonsillar crypts. Tonsillar crypts are embedding within the lymphatic follicles. After that, rest of the structure is same. The muscle fibers in different directions, sections of different glands, mucous and serous acini, sections of blood vessels, adipose tissue, all those will be present here. Okay. Okay, that's all. So you will see mainly the dorsal surface. We have focused the slides. Okay, so above there is the oral cavity, below it there is epithelium of the tongue, stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium, and you will see some filiform papilla. Tip of the filiform papilla is only keratinized. After that, the loose connective tissue layer, which will look blank here, so that is the lamina propria. Okay, after that muscle layers you will see, and different sections, longitudinal transverse sections of muscles you will see, some sections of blood vessels and glands. Here also same thing, on this upper left side there is oral cavity. After the thick epithelium you will see multiple layers of cells and nucleus. You appreciate the stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium and tip of filiform papilla, keratins. After that lamina propria and different layers of muscles and some sections of blood vessels. Okay. Here you can see the tip of the tongue. Okay. The epithelium is going like this. It is surrounding the tip and going towards the inferior aspect. Okay. You can see in the epithelium different papillas, and in between the two layers of epithelium there are muscle fibers, sections of blood vessels you will see, and lamina propria is just beneath the epithelium. Okay, mainly filiform papillas are visible. Filiform and one fungiform in the upper, in 12 o'clock position, one fungiform is visible. Okay, so see the filiform and fungiform papilla. Here also you see the stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium, some papillas are there, lamina propria and then muscle fibers. Okay, after seeing the epithelium you can move the slide to see the different sections of muscle fibers. Okay, and some sections of blood vessels. Okay, here I have focused the section of some glands, serous gland and mucous gland, in between the different direction of muscle fibers. Okay, so above there is the epithelium, then lamina propria, then muscle fibers. So we have focused the region of muscle fibers and some section of glands here. Okay,